do want to do is say your name and where you're from, and just share a little bit about your cattle operation. Don't want to bring in CattleMax right now, but
Mhm.
just share a little bit about your operation, and we'll start with that.
Okay. I'm Jimmy Curtis. We live in DeKalb, Texas. My wife and I have a small operation now that consists of about 20 registered Charolais animals. We do all AI. We don't have a bull. And then right now we're building our herds, so we're keeping our heifers and the bull calves. Some we keep, some we cut, you know.
So, tell us about how did you get into ranching?
Ranching's been in my blood since I was a little fella. My parents lived with my mom's parents on a large operation there in Mississippi, and it was registered Charolais, so that's where I came up with Charolais. Always been my favorite breed. But we spent every weekend, every summer we could, out on that ranch, and it's just something I always wanted to do. When it came time to go to school, animal science degree is what I wanted. I wanted to work on a ranch, and you know, my dream came true after college, and spent 26 years on a 1,000-head cow-calf operation in East Texas, and we did the embryo transfer, the artificial insemination, you know, had the big registered sales and all the big entertainers back in the late 80s, early 90s when, you know, everybody was trying to outdo everybody. So it's just in my blood. It's just something I'll always have cattle.
Anyway, so I just have a separate soundbite, but just why do you raise cattle? I mean, you can repeat that it's in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
I raise cattle because.
Yeah, I raise cattle because I enjoy dealing with them. You know, they're different temperaments. They're different, just like people. You know, they're just different. We can go out and spend some time in them and just talk about them and look at them. And most of ours we can go out and scratch on, and it's very relaxing for me to be with the cattle. It's been in my blood since I was a little bitty fella, and I guess as long as I'm able to take care of them, I'll have cattle. So I don't know what else, you know. So
now what I'd like to do, Jimmy, since you had that background of large herd, kind of contrast for me about why you think record keeping is important. So I found record keeping to be important when I managed a 1,000-head herd, and now I just have 20 in my own little herd. But here's why I think record keeping is important in both cases.
yeah, well, record keeping was very important to me on the large ranch. There's no way to remember each animal. You know, where I'm at now, a small herd, we got everybody named. We don't use numbers, but on the ranch, you know, everything had an ear tag, a number. We could keep up with their calves to make sure they were having one every year. They were producing one that we could make money with. So it made, you know, culling easier, keeping up with their breeding, their vaccinations. We got into some, like VAC 45, and then we got in with Laura's lean beef years later. And, you know, you have to use their protocol of vaccinations. And if you had a sick animal, you know, when you get into all of these that no antibiotics, you have to know which ones that you did have to treat or lose. And so it made it real easy for us to sort those animals out and not put them into the food chain under their name. Well, now that we're downsized, not on the ranch anymore, we still keep records on our animals. We, like I say, we don't have a bull, so we keep up with those that are easy to artificially inseminate. We like to weigh our cattle for their performance, and there's no way for us to keep up with it without using some form of record keeping.
Yeah, if I can interject for one second, you mind moving your shirt over just a little bit? Your goatee's kind of catching it.
Oh.
Other side.
Oh.
That's good.
Okay. I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, well, these things are pretty sensitive.
Yeah.
But we're
Okay.
good now. Thank you.
Okay.
What I want to do is come back with another statement, Jimmy, of like, now now with only 20 head, we still think it's critical to have record keeping in line.
Okay. With only 20 head, it's still very important for us to keep up with our records. I mean, we want to know the performance of our animals, know that they're actually a part of the herd, whether they're at the average or above average. Those that are not doing their job don't get to stay. It's just one of those things that record keeping is a part of our lifestyle, and we enjoy knowing how our animals perform, the different bulls that we use on our cattle, you know, which ones perform correctly, which ones don't. And we do that by keeping up with performance and their pedigrees, and, you know, even keeping up with EPDs on our cattle to match them so that they do perform so well.
So what did you use for record keeping before CattleMax in your
Oh
ranch?
man, stone tablet. No, when I came out of college and went directly into ranching on that large ranch, we were in a transition of how to keep records. When I got there, they were using 3x5 cards and trying to, you know, had a secretary, her whole job was just to write down what the cowboys brought in on each animal. And I mean, it was just a file cabinet of 3x5 cards. We got into a software program back in the late 80s that was really clunky, but it was a start. And, you know, it took just about as much work as it did to keep up with the 3x5 cards, other than you could get reports a whole lot quicker. You know, record keeping's evolved, software's evolved, the devices we can use them on has evolved. So you get the same information on a smaller package in about 100th of the time it used to take to keep up with it.
So what made you choose CattleMax, and why did you continue to use it in your operation?
Well, we chose CattleMax because it's really easy to use. The service we got, the people that own it are invested in it. It's not just a software company that they don't know anything about cattle or ranching. We all understand what everybody's going through, but CattleMax was just so much easier to use. I remember when it was on the desktop version, I really thought we hit a home run when we found that. Then when they evolved to go to the cloud base so that we could do our work in the pasture or chute side, and I could go home and play with the kids at night instead of sitting in front of the computer to keep to catch our records up. That meant the world to me. But also to be able to have that same data at my fingertips in the pasture to make a quick decision, not have to run back to the office and look it up or get sidetracked before I get there.
Yeah, kind of along the same line. What do you like most about CattleMax these days?
Oh man, what I like about CattleMax, there's just so much to actually to list. It's hard for me to say exactly which part I like. I mean, outside of the cattle records, man, I love the rainfall. I use that feature a bunch. My weaning weights are down. It makes it real easy for me to go back and look. I didn't have that much rain. My calves are fat and slick. I knew I had a lot of rain. The reports I can get out of it really quick. I can see information on each individual cow. Just reach in my pocket and get my cell phone and know exactly the last time we treated that animal. We have the group updates, so you can add treatments to a lot of animals all at one click instead of individually having to take time and go to each one and add it. The end of the year organizer. I mean, we can hand our CPA at the end of the year, and it's got all the information he needs to know about our operation, whether we made $1 or lost $1. I don't know. That's a hard question to answer with one favorite feature.
So what made you want to join the CattleMax team?
Oh man, I joined the CattleMax team because to me it was a perfect fit. Being on a large operation, and that operation shut down. The gentleman that owned it was older, and he didn't have any kids or grandkids that were interested. So CattleMax gave me the opportunity to stay in the cattle business with the people that I enjoy working with. And Truman always said I was his high-tech redneck, so I've always liked all the technology that goes with it. And CattleMax offers me the ability to continue to work with the high-tech toys, work with good cattle people, and help them with their data so that they can make the best decisions and be profitable as well.
I think that's good. Very good.
What did you do with him about what would he without, or just that without, can you imagine without?
Oh, the reason I did Penny is he's already featured in the show,
Gotcha, okay.
and that part would be the rolling at the credits.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that was the reason I didn't.
Okay.
But we can't. It wouldn't hurt to have it. Let's
I don't know, I just,
like to do that. So if we use the phrase "I can't imagine," and implying with CattleMax, like I can't imagine doing without. Say the word "I can't imagine."
Okay, I couldn't imagine. I got tongue-tied there. I could not imagine trying to keep up with even my small herd. All the records that we need to keep to be profitable in our cattle businesses, but these 1,000 head and bigger, and I would personally be lost. There's no way I could keep up with it on paper and know exactly where I stood from a day-to-day place in this world.
All right. Good.
It's all right.
We'll cut that. We'll edit before we get to that one. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you can think of, Penny?
no, that's it, that's all I just wanted to, that's great, hey, I appreciate that, Jimmy. That's
You
great.
bet.
No, it's good. So did we get everybody?
I think we got everybody.
You know what I'd like to do is to go ask everyone. All right, now that you've had time away, is there anything you'd like to say that you thought of later? You'd like